Right, first and foremost, very good evening, Mr. Cham, Mrs. Cham, Ravi, Jeanette, the whole team of Bishan Topayo, and Hongkan of SMC! Good evening. So my name is Abdillah. Everyone just calls me Up. Easy for you guys, easy for everyone to remember. Everyone just calls me Up. Yes, correct, Up. Or Botak. Some people call me Up Botak. Easy to remember. Because now we have two Botaks in the team. So everyone in the team is calling me Botak A and Ben as Botak B. So you know, it's like bananas in pajamas. Are you thinking what I'm thinking, B1? Okay, so anyway, back down to elections. Important things to talk about. And of course, I'm the youngest candidate in the team here at 30 years old. And I'm standing here before you, reaching out to you and asking you to vote for Ravi, as well as the team from Bishan Topayo, Jeanette for Mountbatten, and Mrs. Lina Chiam for Potong Pasir. So if you have your friends staying in any of these areas, please message them and tell them to vote for us so that we can be your voice in Parliament. So ladies and gentlemen, what is important here in Singapore? Now, if we take a look at the Maslow hierarchy of needs, and we take a look at the lowest bar, the lowest level, Maslow says that the first line, the most important one, is physiological needs. And what is physiological needs? It is your basic needs, that's right. Your food, water, air, and most importantly, shelter. And in Singapore, shelter is your pigeonhole homes that we all live in, which is extremely expensive. Even the cost of your food and drinks have gone up over the past few years. Now, 15 years ago, when I was 15 years old, every Thursday night there will be a gathering for the Muslim men, and we will read some surahs from the Quran. After every Thursday night, we will hang out at the void deck. And then all these pakcik-pakcik, the old guys, they hang out with me, with my dad, and they will talk about politics. And the one issue they always talk about is about the cost of housing. And my dad will always say, when my son grows up, I don't think he can afford to buy a house. And then he goes on to say, if he does afford a house, I don't think his grandchildren will be able to afford to buy a house. And that was 15 years ago. And he's right. I don't think he was ever wrong. Because look at what's happening here in Singapore today. Most of us who are married, we end up slogging, trying to save that little bit of money so we can pay off the house, the housing loans. And it takes you 25 years, 30 years, just to clear the loan so that you can finally have a peace of mind. If you don't ever reach that 20, 25, 30 years, you will forever, every single month, you'll be thinking, how much money do I have to pay? You are thinking, how much money do I have to spend? And that is the reality of living in Singapore. The cost of housing is expensive. Transportation is getting expensive as well. Your COEs. Personally, I ride a motorcycle. I've enjoyed riding a motorcycle. I've been riding for about 12 years now. And right now, even the cost of motorcycle COE is getting expensive. While motorcycle used to be the poor man's vehicle, it is no longer affordable for the poor man. Your vehicle cost probably is only about $4,000, and now your COE is about $6,000. It doesn't make any sense at all that whatever you're paying for your COE, you can actually just pay it to buy your motorcycle. And let's not even go with the cars. So what about Ravi, ladies and gentlemen? Now, Ravi was the guy who called me roughly about a month, about 2 to 3 weeks before elections started, actually. I was performing at Drama Center, and then I got a call from one of my friends. He said, hey, Ravi is here. He wants to meet you later. Can or not? I said, okay. But this wasn't my first meeting with anyone from SPP. The first meeting I had was a private meeting with Mrs. Lina Chiam. It was at McDonald's, Great World City. And she sat down and she talked to me and she said, Abdillah, are you ready to run? I said, yeah, if you trust me enough to run, then of course I will run. And why do I say trust? Because she has been working alongside Mr. Cham Si Tong for 27 years to run Potong Pasir SMC. She knows what it takes for someone to be a politician. She knows what it takes for someone to be a member of parliament. And if she has that kind of trust in me, then I'm humbled, I'm honored, and I will take the responsibility to step up for my friends who are 30 and below, for the young ones, to be in parliament, to speak for the young ones. And ladies and gentlemen, when we talk about elections, we are not talking about the next 5 years. Just like what the PAP says, you're talking about the next future, the 50 years, 100 years. And that's what's important to all of us. If you take a look at your children here today, the young ones running around at the side, do you think they can truly afford to buy a house in probably another 15, 20 years' time if we still continue to be in the PAP government? Do you? Precisely. And that is why you need to send us, the whole team from SPP, into parliament, so that we can be the blocking for PAP before they send out their policies. We can stop them. In Malay weddings, we always have these people who hold, some things to prevent the bride, or rather the groom, to go through to the bride. And that's what we will do. We will block the PAP from approving these kind of policies which are not constructive, not helpful for the people of Singapore. Thank you for the whistles. So for the young ones here today, for those who are first time voting, there are a few questions I need you to question, I need you to ask. I was just like you 2 elections ago. But 2 elections ago, when I was first balloting, or rather putting my polls in, I was a man in blue. I was serving my national service, just like the guys over here standing around us. Can we please give them a round of applause first? Some of the men in blue here today are my ex-teammates from the police force. I know them, they're good guys. Please don't give them any trouble. So the first question you need to ask as a young voter, why should you vote for Ravi? You've heard a lot from everyone on stage here tonight. Ravi is a passionate man. He's a man who's able to help you. He's a man who will be there for you. I don't know what else do you want from a member of parliament other than all these criteria that he has. Number 2, the next question you need to ask is, what can Ravi do for you? Ladies and gentlemen, my comrade Brian mentioned earlier on about the incident in Toa Payoh, about him going down personally to help the lady, the whole family of 8. I'm sure he can do the same for you here as well. And he's staying right behind here. Actually, we just walk in. You need help, he'll walk there. And last but not least, ladies and gentlemen, the third question you need to ask, what positive change do you want to see in Singapore? And that is the essential question that all of us need to ask. What is the positive change that we want to see in Singapore happen in 5, 10 years' time? The change will not happen within 5 years' time, because change takes time. So if you vote us in parliament, we will ensure for the next 5 years, we can ensure that whatever policies the PAP is going to come out, the government is come up with, we will ensure that for the next 5, 10 years, the policies they implement will be helpful to you, to all Singaporeans. So vote for us. Vote for SPP. Your voice in parliament. Thank you.